So I feel like this collective, you may be going through an activation of darker energy. I was noticing that. I mean, just personally, maybe some things that you may be attracted to as of lately, maybe on the darker spectrum of things. Or you could be moving through transmuting some darker emotions. Maybe spirit is preparing you like through showing you things like in your reality that reflect kind of like darker things, like maybe darker TV shows. It is spooky season, so you may be interested in the scary things, or yeah, just kind of like diving into that side of reality, I guess, right now, because you're transmuting, you're getting ready to transmute some darkness. Yes. Uh, we have the Queen. We have Thanatos. I think Thanatos is the guy off of Marvel or one of them. um, the Queen, and then the Thread, and then the Vow. It's coming through that there was something that is in your soul contract, like a fated event or fated series of events that is being like woven together with the thread, and then we have like this spider web thing going on. But we have the Queen here and the poet. She's like that is kind of like reminding me of Persephone, which is reminding me of like transmuting dark energy or being comfortable sitting in dark energy. Um, and then we have the Vow. There's something that was already fated for you. It also feels like a crowning. Feels like a crowning, like I'm picturing like a fairy tale. Or like Hercules, Hercules when they have the fates and they're like talking about somebody. It's like the fates have like woven something for you or decided something for you. Like it's something that's kind of out of your control, but I think, or at least it seems like it's out of your control in this moment, but it's like a crowning of you, like you coming into some kind of power. It's time. It's like time for something. This is kind of giving like an arranged, not, I don't want to say like an arranged marriage, like literally, but it's like so other people knowing or other energies knowing that you are destined for something and you didn't know, you know? And it's like, or something was hidden from you that you were going to be coming into a certain level of power or something like that. And then they're like, oh, okay, yeah, now it's time. You might have been like very mundane or routine about certain things, like living a very quote unquote normal life. And that's been some downloads that have been coming through too around like accepting, I don't want to say your lack of normalcy, but it's like you don't live a normal life. You're not going to live a normal life. You're not supposed to live a quote unquote normal life. So it's like I think coming to acceptance about that, but I think that there is going to be an event, it feels like, or some spiritual activation that with the 1010 portal too, it's like something closing and something else opening or another path opening that's been it just feels like you've been the one not in the know about it, consciously at least. Um, we have the sword and Keros. This is a lot of discernment, a lot of responsibility, it feels like. Responsibility about what? I feel like that's the Althea card. Yep, truth. You have the responsibility of saying things or speaking truth to things, saying something out loud, because you can see certain things in the fault line and then the self. Oh, what's behind that? Hold on. The riddle. Hmm. I was getting a message about this morning about like you may have experienced certain things, like certain experiences, certain initiations in your life early on that are, I guess you consider part of your karmic path or your like coming into power, right? And like activations, learning your lessons, and it's all seeming to, like, be a part of one chapter of your life or maybe a certain part of your life. And then it feels like you're on a different chapter of your life, right? Like there's a new chapter being activated, but it feels like spirit is saying that you don't just like say, "Oh, that's the old me," or "That's the old version of me." That's that was a different part of my life. You don't completely dissociate from it or draw the line in the sand as if those experiences don't hold the wisdom that has, primed you to be who you are today. It feels like there's a weaving of the both like the past and your future. Obviously, you're the one in the middle with your present moment. Does it make sense? It feels like this. It's like you can't cut your past off because it's like what has formed you into being who you are today. But then it's like there's a question about like who you're going to be. And I think that you're having a hard time with putting the pieces together because some of the parts are related to your past that you want to kind of cut off, you know? And I feel like your ability to see, it feels like into the dark or to um, use some kind of gift is related to your past experiences. And I think that if you don't accept parts of your truth, how I think I saw your video on YouTube, Sana, that was saying, um, your truth is your medicine. That's kind of what this feels like. If you are not accepting parts of your story as your truth and you try to draw a fault line or like a line in the sand of like, that's an old version of you and this is a new version of you, then you're losing the potency of your medicine. And so it's like the riddle is like, well, you're like, well, what is being woven? What am I becoming? And they're saying you have to go back to weave this together, needing to be in the embodied authenticity. Yes. I feel like they have the offering and then the fragment, the mirror on the bottom of the deck. There's some, um, I don't want to just say like a darker part. What's really coming through is that there may be a gift, a psychic gift, or some kind of activation, like we said, um, that may be happening right now that is connected to something else, but it doesn't seem like it's connected to something else. Like this thread is connected to something else. For instance, this person, another person, could seem like unrelated to your gifts, but it's revealing something about how your mind works or um, your how your intention can be so strong or how if you focus on something like it happens or if you detach from something like it's teaching you something about like however this dynamic is happening or not happening could be related to this gift of a Monday. We have the maiden and the healer. This is about a maturation of something or coming into your gifts through certain cycles. And like I said, this person may reveal to you, or you may have had an experience with a person that broke a cycle. So then there's also the breaking of, and that's related, like it's a thread that is related to this. Like if you wouldn't have experienced that thing with that person, then you wouldn't be activating in this way. Or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's helping you to come into your healing gifts by breaking a certain cycle. Sustainer, the temple, and the mountain. Something isn't some psychic energy that you're putting towards something is not sustainable. The desert on the bottom of the deck. It's keeping you in a box when they're trying to help you to see. Okay, for instance, what's coming through is like if you have a telepathic connection with a person and like it's you're psychically connected, the thread of energy, again, you can connect to the thread of energy. What makes you think that you can't connect to other energies or communicate with other energies? That may be something that could be activated within you if you transmute that energy to your benefit. It's like they're trying to get you to, because we go from the sustainer is like a square, it's like 4, and then we go into a 3, the temple, both of these, the mountain and the temple, there's like a peak to something. Removing something allows you to come into actual sustainability because the triangle is actually the most stable structure. There's something there with that. Yeah, there's something about removing a point of focus, I feel like even psychically on something, and helping you to it's related to weaving this next thread, it feels like. Um, my ears ringing so hard. Let me see. Where do we want to go with this? On my yin mysticism deck. I keep hearing this song. It's like, I like the way you move. Like the not the like Madagascar song. It's like is one of the ones like off of TikTok. Um, I like the way you move, the way you do the things you do. We have hypnosis, Kali. Do you see how that came out so strong? That's double Kali energy. This is like a very, I'm telling you, they're preparing you, or you're about to go through a series of, it feels like deep activations on a soul level. And it's going to remove things that it's going to feel, I feel like a bit chaotic. But I feel like this is something that, like, with that's such a something that's like, on a soul level, like you're prepared for on a soul level. It wouldn't be happening if you weren't, right? But at the same time, consciously, it's like you don't know. It feels like something else or someone else knows. But I can't put my finger on like somebody. It's not like somebody activating you actively, but there's like a knowing of like coming into contact with this person, or that this person knew that they were supposed to interact with you for like at a certain point in your life or something like that, where they just feel drawn, there's an attraction there that activated something within you, it feels like, or removed something from your life, removed a certain belief, that even maybe blocked your psychic energy, that kept you on a particular loop. And so now something else, there's room for something else. It feels like it says inappropriate with summer in reverse. It says inappropriate or untimely actions, hypnosis and Kali. So it's like there's something that like it feels abrupt, um, or it happened abruptly. Or maybe you didn't understand why it happened abruptly, maybe some separation. We have yin identity in the reverse, inner compass, self knowing direction. Yeah, this is I mean, Kali is known for ripping away the masks, you know, and it does always feel inappropriately timed, but it's not like inappropriately timed because, she's literally a goddess of time, but it's in divine time. And so, it is divine. Like I said, it feels like a crowning or some kind of activation that's like it's been written, it's been fated. The fates have already discussed this. They've already been weaving the things, you know what I'm saying? But um you just consciously are like, this is very inconvenient. I didn't want it. I didn't if I could have, I wouldn't have had it happen this way. But we have pure yin. So that, yeah, this is an energetic activation. Healing, resting, and dreaming. This may be happening too, like in the astral. You know, as you're sleeping, things may be happening. Maybe having a hard time going to sleep, or maybe feeling like you need to sleep more because something is happening on an energetic level. We have receive, trust, nourish, and follow. Yeah, receive and activation. What is activation? I mean, I guess you will know when you when you allow it to move through you. We have earth, subconscious desire, and fertility. Yes. Pursue, seek, and initiate on the bottom of the deck. This is I mean, it says earth and it's number 13, and we do have goddess Maya, I feel like that reminds me of like earth energy. But it says subconscious desire and fertility. Like, this is something that's been hidden from you. Like I said, on a conscious level, it feels very inconvenient and like, okay, what the fuck is going on? But this is going to shift your identity as well. Um, Kind of getting like an intense kundalini rising experience or something, but it may be because it's so intense. You may wake up and feel completely different one morning. You may feel like wake up and have different aspirations or want to put certain things down. Um, but I'm even feeling like a kundalini type of thing, with the energy rising from the root. Um, and I mean that makes sense because we're dealing with the dark feminine. And not only are you have to like, you can deal with the dark feminine, you can work with, not deal. Work with the dark feminine in the way of like emotional alchemy and consciously doing that work, and or say you've been doing this, say, oh, that makes sense. You've had to release something that was once a sustainable belief for you. Through doing that work and releasing that was a building block of your identity, and so you've been having to release that, so now there's room for more stability, right? There's more room for more energy to move through you, so you're going to experience an energetic activation. But also, um I lost my train of thought. Oh, rather than doing that just emotional alchemy, like conscious work and in this release work, I feel like on a subconscious level, there are certain gifts that can be revealed to you now too, because that's not the only thing that hides in the shadow is like your blockages. You know what I'm saying? It's also what I'm hearing is bones, bones. I never say bones, so that's definitely a channel word. Yin excess in the reverse, toxic positivity, unvulnerable and shallow. So they're asking you to go deeper and to not lean so much into the light because there are gifts, like I said, boons of in the dark. Lone wolf, isolation, and loneliness separate in the reverse. So um, you've been put into an isolation into isolation, to ground. It feels like depressurized, unclaimed stress, slow down. So they're asking, like I said, this is probably going to be very, we have chaos on the bottom of the deck, a chaotic feeling, a chaotic time, but they are also, I feel like, affirming that you're in the mental space that you can handle it. Make sure that you're grounding. If you do experience like an activation like this, it feels very chaotic. It feels, like whoever you were surrounding yourself with, obviously you needed to be separate from them so that you could receive this activation. Um, I do think that this is going to lead to more stability, obviously, or else it wouldn't be happening. And this is something that I feel like you called in on a soul level. But it's like, this is feeling very intense. Okay. Let's get this hair on. Well, you know what? They just gave me another deck. What is the deck? This one. What is it, spirit? What are we going through? I know we're going through an activation, but like what is coming through? We have love, wisdom, and knowledge of the divine feminine peeking through. Initiation by air. We've been getting this quite a lot, but it's like definitely activation of the mental space, the heart transmission, and alchemical mutation. Yes, this is happening on a orbs of light. Interesting. Um this was initiated by another connection because we have a masculine and a feminine here. And I feel like you had to release certain beliefs and thought patterns related to um what you thought like a sustainable belief or thought pattern was related to love. This did cause some heartbreak. It caused grief. It required you to alchemize certain emotions. I feel like consciously, but now on a subconscious level, it's like there's room for something to move through you. So I feel like also, even if you're getting maybe signs and synchronicities of this other person, I don't think it represents this other person necessarily. I think that it's related to this other person because we have initiation by air. It's like mental space, like something moving through the mental space. So it's like you may be seeing flashes of this person, but it's like I don't think that that's the actual activation that's happening at the moment. Yeah, one more. Divine beauty. Yes, this is for you, your activations. This is that Sekhmet energy. Also, on the other half of Sekhmet, is Hathor, right? I think so. Um, so you may be going through the fire right now, but then it's an elevation of your Venusian energy because the Hathors are connected to the Venusians, and it's like that, or vice versa, whatever. But it's like that heart transmission. Subconsciously, you could have had a lot of blocks, or yeah, you had belief systems that blocked the heart from giving and receiving. Um, which also affects your magnetism and all these other things. So, again, this is an activation that's happening for you. While you may be experiencing or feeling like this other person is involved, I don't think that they are. I think that's just how your mind is like interpreting, you know, interpreting things. The conscious mind, at least. I was also just like, if you experience, like I said, you may wake up and feel completely different one morning. You may wake up and like receive this activation and whatever, you don't want to do the same things or whatever. Have you ever had like a timeline shift where like things are a little bit different, like something is moved, or you can't find something, or it seems like things shifted. They're saying that you may experience that type of thing even after just like going to sleep. Uh, or having an experience like in the astral realm because something is happening. The shifts are happening subconsciously, which is allowing more energy to move through your being, but it's also like your reality will shift because your reality is created by your subconscious thoughts, habits, and beliefs. Your reflective need to know. Eight of Cups. Yeah, you're leaving a timeline. The Nine of Pentacles. You had to leave something, but it's also leaving a timeline. You had to leave someone to be on your own. And this was, again, a building block of like, it was a belief that you had sustained for a long time. And so you had to release that consciously, and then subconsciously, you're also making room for this, like to receive on a new timeline or to be stable on a new timeline. And then that even makes sense. that I just feel like it's double confirmation because we have the 8 and technically 2 fours, the box thing that I was saying, the fours, 2 fours, 2 people that maybe reflected the same, I don't wanna call them sustainable beliefs, but you thought that they were sustainable beliefs. It's like the 2 fours, 2 boxes, 2 people had to walk away, or you had to walk away from something and initiate something. And it's like now with the 9, again, we have the 3s and we have 3, 6, 9. That's like choosing a new timeline, but it's also like very, like I said, choosing a timeline. Like you wove this together. Like this was an activation. Leaving this person basically was an activation. I feel like it's just confirmation of the 3s, the numerology of the 3s, and the numerology of the 4s and the 8s. So this is it's my things. Uh, okay. Yes, we have the 6 of Cups, that of the past, and then we have the 4 of Wands. Something of the past helps you to arrive somewhere in your future. This is so interesting because it's like the 8 of, or, you left something, and that feels like we're talking about the past. You left something and now here you are in the 9 of Pentacles. You're solid in the future. But there's something of the past, 6 of Cups, that is coming up again that helps you to graduate or arrive somewhere in your future. And it's interesting because the 9 of Pentacles, she's looking over at these 2 cards of both the past and the arriving. There's something weird about that. Like, I mean, we have searing presence here, like I said, but Page of Swords in the reverse. I'm getting so I'm getting we have the Page of Swords in the reverse. It's like someone's not saying something, someone's not being straightforward about something, but the energy is felt. The energy, the activation was received even without any communication. You know what I'm saying? Actually, a lot is being said through silence, and a lot is being observed of both the past and the present and the future. Like there's a knowing about a future that you don't really know on a conscious level, but on a soul level, you know it. Right. But it's like you can't put your finger on it. It's not something that can even be spoken out loud. But there's so much being said with the 8 of Wands. It's like literally like messages coming left and right, left and right, left and right. It almost feels like overwhelming, it feels like, because it's like you don't know if it's I feel like you're so stuck in like this weird space, like in time, where you don't understand if it's like past energy or if it's future energy. That's what it feels confusing. You don't know if it's past or it's future. We have the Lovers on the bottom of the deck, and then we have the Page of Wands. What is the Page of Wands doing? He's took one wand, he took one of the messages, and what is he doing with one of the messages? The Ace of Pentacles. He's turning it into something. He sees the potential of like I said, this activation that may have happened from this person is actually tied, like he's taking the one thread, one action that he can take, and he sees the potential of it that is actually tied to a gift that can be used in the physical. Ace of Pentacles, something that can be grounded into the physical, an action that can be taken from the messages. And then we have the 9 of Wands. The 8 of Wands plus the Page of Wands is 9 Wands. Is this a choice? Page of Cups. And the 2 of Cups in reverse. I feel like this is showing up as like, okay, now 2 energies. This does feel like telepathic communication. I feel like one party okay, I'm seeing it, I was almost split. Okay. One party, even though there's no communication, right, happening, there's a lot happening though in communication, like telepathically. And I feel like that's connected to gifts. And so like one person's like, okay, I'm gonna start playing with these gifts. I'm gonna take some action with what's coming up for me. I'm gonna try to transmute this. I see the potential in this. Maybe I can use this, you know? And then there's another that's connected to the same energy because we have nine of wands now. And I was thinking like this feels like nine of wands, but one person's using the energy differently than another. We have the page of cups. It's a feeling that one person may be going through a lot while the other person is trying to learn how to use the energy that's being sent that feels like they're going through a lot. You know what I'm saying? With the two of cups in reverse, it kind of almost feels like with this page of cups, the nine of wands person that's looking at the person that's doing the transmuting or trying to at least use the threads, the person that's doing the weaving, they're looking at them and they're like not saying anything, but everything is being said psychically. I feel like the 10 of cups, there's a feeling of wanting forgiveness. Why does this come through when the person is trying to focus on how to use the damn thread? You know what I'm saying? Like, Ten of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Devil in reverse. That's what I'm saying. It's time. There's something about it's time. It's interesting because I'm hearing like it's like the opposite of two things can be true at once. Spirit is so like cryptic right now. It's kind of creeping me out, but like in a good way. Cause it's like I feel like the line is so clear, but it's not. It's like staticky, you know, but you're still picking up is again, you can't understand if it's like past or future, you know, like if you should hold on to something or not, you know? But then you can also see like the multifacetedness of this situation of how you've been activated, how you've been, you know, given certain gifts. You're about to go through another activation that feels like it's related to this. Um, but we have the devil in reverse and we have the wheel of fortune. This is a lot of major arcana about time, Saturn energy. This is good Saturn energy. This is Kali energy. That's why I'm saying divine time, not Saturn like the box, like we were saying. Oh, that makes sense. The box is like Saturn's cube, you know, that's like the matrixy, you know, time. But then when we have the triangle, that's the womb. That's divine time. You had to get rid of something that reflected something of the 3D, maybe a belief system that wasn't sustainable of the 3D. But I was saying it feels like two things can be true at once, but the opposite of that. Like there's only one thing. And it goes back to like the thread with the spider and the fates and all that. Like, yeah, you think that there's all of these choices, but there's really only one, you know? And it's like I guess you being on this path to discovering this and it kind of I don't know, this is an interesting thing about will and free will and all these things that kind of a conversation that could come up about that, right? Because like there are many ways to think about that, interpret that, but it feels like two of pentacles in reverse, the high priestess in reverse, and the two of swords in reverse, like they're saying like two things can't be true at once. When you're in alignment, you don't it feels like an unblocking of energy with the two of swords in reverse. Like there's only one choice when you're in alignment. When you're in alignment with your heart, it feels like. There's only really one thing that you actually desire. and it all leads to the same point. It all leads to like these activations. Your, I guess, the thread, the red thread too, you know? Five of Pentacles in reverse, the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. We have three Pentacles in between. Mm, hold on. The feeling of, however this was tied to, like I said, like that 3D time thing. However, this was tied to like whatever unsustainable thought pattern that you may have had about a particular connection or your path. It feels like it could have been also tied to relieving emotionally, like alchemizing, um, rejection wounds and things like that. Feeling left out, feeling undervalued, feeling, and they're saying something about like when you decided to relieve that timeline that's related to literally that timeline and how time works and things like that, and your beliefs around, it's like how much you would put your faith in that type of time and use it to validate or validate belief systems that reflected like low self-worth or and things like that, like rejection wounds, how you would use time to validate wounding that needed to be like relieved, because again there's only one timeline that's really related to like your heart energy or that thread, and it's not determined by that time. Does that make sense? That timeline. You have to get on a different timeline that's like more like stand up for a new timeline. A timeline that doesn't require you to work hard for what's on the other side of your thread, Or it's not determined by how much time you put in or your sense of self-worth being related to either speed or not, It's something that's like deeper and more divine than that. We have the Seven of Wands, the Fool, and the Hangman. Being able to be carefree, being able to um it feels like be suspended in time without worrying, standing up for a new timeline that is like a lot more free. We have Justice now. Interesting. Interesting. The Moon and the Five of Cups. That's what Justice is saying, that behind this purple curtain, your karmic curtain, this lesson, again, an activation that was activated through a healing lesson with a message, a gift, I'm saying, of healing and elevation was given to you, and that's what you were able to see on your side of the curtain. That's what spirit wanted you to take in from your side of the curtain and to release certain things. There's so much darkness on the other side, and it's not saying that that other person is going through darkness or whatever. Again, it's again very telepathic, but it's because it's activating certain things within you. You're receiving activations, but it's like you cannot see anything going on over there, with the Moon and the Five of Cups. It's so dark. You don't like, there's no way. Like, and justice has been, it feels like that justice energy has been making sure that you can't with a purple curtain. And the only way to actually connect would be telepathically. There's a star in reverse and the Knight of Wands. Your lack of faith in your thread, in your gifts that have been being activated, that chaotic energy that's related to, again, Kali only shows up when I want to say only, but she's famous for showing up when things need to be removed, when certain masks need to be removed, when certain truths need to be revealed. You needed to let go of that timeline that's so related to the 3D to Saturn timeline that it feels like it activated like some fight or flight energy within you with the star in reverse because of your lack of faith. It feels like so many honestly rewards built into one you know experience. Yeah, the Hierophant, literally. That's that's a god card, or like the spiritual teacher. There's so many lessons to be learned, and so it's like this other person, or you feeling so drawn to this person despite how it seemed to have played out in the 3D. There was a knowing that it was time. Again, it was like it's time for you to be crowned. It's time for something to happen on a subconscious level. Once something is moved or removed consciously, this person was a player in activating that for you. You're the Queen of Cups, psychic abilities. What about the Queen of Cups? And the Hermit. So now it feels like, now that this has kind of been explained, I guess, a little bit deeper, a little bit more, this is like the invitation to, I feel like that's funny we put the waves because I'm picturing like, it's like the subconscious is now about to catch up to, I feel like, I want to say subconscious is going to catch up. It feels like there's room for something else to move through the subconscious now that something has been removed consciously, you know? So yeah, they're putting you into an isolated period so that you can basically have this activation on your own, which I think is honestly just as important. Yes, I know. Just as important as receiving activations from another. I think it's important for us to experience them on our own as well. Yeah, the Two of Cups. It was an activation through heartbreak, through betrayal, through feeling left out, through, but that's on its old timeline. These are old beliefs that are related to an old timeline that don't actually honor divine time, higher will, the multifacetedness of this situation. Yes, on this timeline you may have experienced 10 of swords, but it also was the ending of something. That's what we're saying, the 10-10, and removing something that needed to be removed. And we have the Chariot. So now you can move forward. Hmm. Ooh, this is giving like a light body activation. I just heard like Merkaba or something. And then we have the Eight of Swords, yes. The Nine of Swords and the Three of Cups in reverse. Yeah. Yeah. Spirit is saying, like, I mean, at the very basic level, this person, whoever, yes, it is like holding on to the past, which is an illusion. Yes, that's why I was going back and forth. I'm like, it's like this person has already left. They're already in the Nine of Pentacles, like you. And then they're looking at the past, but then they're looking at how they've arrived somewhere, or they're going to arrive somewhere. It's like all mixed up. And it's like there's a light body activation. There's like so much wrapped into this on a spiritual level that obviously this connection was supposed to happen. It's the way that it was supposed to happen. But we have the Eight of Swords in reverse, and it's like to free you, to free your mind of something again, to relieve yourself of an unsustainable belief. But then it's like you don't know who you are, you don't know why you're being isolated, you don't know why, you're experiencing so much chaos. Well, the chaos is that it feels like that Kali energy where it's actually allowing whatever was that those energetic blockages have been removed because that unsustainable belief has been removed. So now the energy can move up and around you or whatever. But it feels like, yeah, the Three of Pentacles, and that was what was supposed to happen. Um, Not everything can be understood on a conscious level. Like this part of it is happening on a very energetic level. So they're saying that with the Three of Pentacles, everyone did what they were supposed to do. Like it feels like this was like more divinely planned than we can, like, I guess, consciously explain. But it's like the Emperor in reverse and the Knight of Swords in reverse. This is like the mind trying to understand something. It's not supposed to understand it because Kali energy, she literally breaks the mind. Like you can't control the energy that's moving through your body currently. You know what I'm saying? You can't control the activations that are happening now that this has taken place. Now that this heartbreak has taken place, there's more room. Yeah, the Lovers in reverse. So, and then we have the Six of Swords. This was an activation to get you to the next space. And it's like, it is time. Yeah. The Six of Swords, the Queen of Wands in reverse, and the Six of Wands. It's like victory after like feeling like not all that great. You know what I'm saying? Queen of Wands in reverse is kind of like not feeling really good about herself, not feeling very like chosen, sexy, hot, not really wanting to be seen, but there's success in this. Yeah. So, okay. I feel like that was pretty much the message, but I guess can get one wrap up card. Let's get a Kali card to wrap it up. I just pulled from this deck not too long ago, and it was really intense and beautiful. I love this deck so much. Okay. I say I love this deck so much, and I throw the damn thing on the ground. I'm actually going to need the guidebook because I want to read it. Okay. 18%. Okie dokie. Oh, this one came out on the bottom of the deck last time. I forget what it was about, though. Okay. We had double Kali energy. Ooh. I knew it was a fucking Kundalini, and she's showing herself again. Kundalini! Look at the masculine and the feminine. It was an activation that had to happen through a partnership, but now it feels like you're getting the other part of it on your own. Gauri? 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 Devi? Kundalini Shakti energy. This shit is so intense. Okay. Like I said, if you are experiencing this, or if you're about to experience this, or you're getting a lot of signs of that person or whatever, and this is hitting for you, make sure that you are grounding, 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 grounding. Make sure you're putting your feet on the grass, on the ground, ass to grass if you need to, because that shit is definitely uh very activating. What number is this? 43? Okie dokie. Okay. Champion of the sweet souls with fierce hearts who are underestimated and passed over. Mm, that's how you're probably feeling. Underestimated and looked over. She is who is gentle as the deer and ruthless as the lioness, Sekhmet, who is the capacity within the awakened heart to rise, to overcome obstacles, to have faith without any evidence of victory, and to rally the spirit until the right moment to act and win is felt. Mm, divine timing. She is nonconformity and the freedom to be one's true self. Recognize your own beauty and value, irrespective of whether another has the capacity to behold it at this time. You shall shine. That's the overview. Okay, let's get into it. The divine feminine is often misunderstood. She is stereotyped as weak and passive and therefore underestimated or dismissed, or as a devouring and castrating, so she is feared or spurned. Yet she is not one thing or the other. She is the wisdom of what is needed. Gauri is the secret softness and light that is a part of Kali. We could call her Kali's bright shadow, the golden shadow. Oh, that makes so much sense. With the Sekhmet, the fire energy, and Kali and the black obsidian. Yes, the golden shadow. Gauri is domesticity and accessibility, where Kali is wildness and mystery. Gauri is bejeweled with gems, Kali with skulls. Gauri is dressed beautifully in sumptuous attire. Kali is naked, smeared in ash and blood. Gauri shows how to operate within social systems, while Kali rejects and disrupts social conditioning. Gauri creates harmony and connection, whilst Kali is autonomous and independent. She is culture, while Kali is untamed. Gauri gives, while Kali takes away. Both work toward the same purpose of protecting and empowering the soul by whatever method will work at the moment. Both are manifestations of the one feminine divinity. One story holds that Kali went to the river to wash, and she emerged fair as Gauri. Soon after, a demon lurked nearby. Her dark skin reemerged, and that was the end of the demon. One lesson from this story is that our fierceness is always within us. We can trust in that and relax into our gentler and more easygoing side. Fierceness in the context of Kali is fierce wisdom. We do not need to cultivate an inherently violent way of being, but rather allow fierce wisdom to spontaneously arise when needed. This story also shows us that there are times to embrace the darkness and times to shed it. We can move into a lighter mood as a way of growth and healing, knowing the wildness is within us when needed to overcome a potential obstacle. It will destroy what threatens to compromise your light, and then it can be at rest once more. This is not something we have to contrive. Instead, we can practice allowing for instinctive wisdom to guide us. In another story, a terrible demon attacked a royal city. None of the powerful local men could defeat it, and a great concern arose amongst the local people. It was said only that a virgin woman could have the power to conquer this energy. None of the women could manage it until the responsible, kind, noble, and courageous goddess Sita stepped forward. She transformed herself into Kali and destroyed the demon as if she were snapping a branch. She was so intimidating in her awesome power that it said her powerful husband, the magnificent god Rama, begged her to return to her domesticated form. She obligingly did, donning her beautiful clothing and neat hair once more. Yet beneath that kind mantle of a civilized and cultured woman is sufficient divine power and ferocity to become a complete badass when needs to be. There are times to allow others There's times to allow others to set clear boundaries. All can be an act of love. It is loving to communicate in a way that others can understand. Some cannot understand gentleness and require a different language to know your boundaries and need for respect. There is a story from the Hindu saint devoted to Kali. He speaks of a snake who was terrifying the villagers, biting them and killing them with his venom. One day, a sage encountered a snake from in the field and taught him about compassion. The snake no longer attacked the villagers, and they no longer feared the snake as a consequence. One day, the traveling sage returned to the village only to find that it had been severely injured following an attack by some local boys. With compassion for the snake, the sage taught him that just because he no longer wanted to bite the villagers didn't mean that he couldn't hiss. He had swung too far from Kali towards Gari. He needed to find a way to accomplish his purpose with compassion, but with wisdom too. When Gari arises in a reading, you are asked to check your boundaries and tune into your capacity to hiss, to realize you are entitled to be kind, but to also be respected. If you have seen yourself as a badass, it is time to embrace your softer side. If you have been soft and doubted your ability to stand up for yourself, you have simply forgotten that you are also Kali. Play with the balance, with what resonates, and know that if you allow for it, the divine will spontaneously arise from within and in whatever form shall accomplish the task. Take responsibility for the consequences of your actions while trusting in her methods that flow through you. Interesting. Interesting. Because we started this with saying you had to walk away from something. And while you may have felt or been, under the impression that you needed to stay for something, wait for something, again, there's this energy of the past being intermingling with the future. It may be confusing you, all of these things. Spirit is saying that if you have shown up in one way for quite a while, say again, if this is kind of showing at the beginning, we're starting with walking away. Maybe you are like being overly compassionate. You're kind of standing on boundaries by walking away. And again, this other person is a very psychic connection. There is so much hidden. You cannot see behind the curtain. And there's reason for that. This also means that your energy is very much protected on the other side of the curtain. Like they don't know what's going on with you either. But also, either way, this is activation. You know what I'm saying? It's saying, I feel like, not to feel bad if you had to make a decision that was in your best interest. Um and also this served in so many ways for you, you know. Um I mean, Kundalini stuff is not going to make sense. It's literally meant to like break the mind. You know what I'm saying? So, um if you try to continue to rationalize things, I feel like it's relief. They're trying to give you some type of relief of understanding that this is an activation that has happened to give you access to so many different things on your soul path, and that you didn't do the wrong thing by walking away, or vice versa. If you feel like you were more on the Kali side, you need to be more compassionate and understanding. You know what I'm saying? Like, know that you're not going crazy, I guess, by allowing, like, just allow whatever, however you showed up in that situation to be what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like they said, like, you have both sides to you. So if you're beating yourself up for maybe like creating a boundary or something, like they're saying you don't need to. Maybe you needed to show up in that way at that time, and vice versa. If you know what I'm saying. I feel like I'm losing the channel. I feel like I'm getting sleepy, but I hope that this helped. If you guys are interested in personal readings, I'm gonna get my link up, I swear. It's Stan Store / Maxine Samone, I'm pretty sure. MaxineSamone. Or you could just support, the membership portal, become a membership or become a member in the void. I need to do all these announcements in the beginning before like my words start getting tied up towards the end of the reading, because like I'm not really here fully. You know what I'm saying? By the end of the reading. But okay. I hope that this helped, and I hope that you enjoy your evening. Yes, Maxine Samone. Talk to you later.